Hey guys, Anthony here, and welcome to Gaming Interest, a news show about gaming news that interests me. Simple as that. Today we're going to be doing the show a little bit differently. This is still a brand new series, and the last two episodes were written out and scripted. This one is going to be just off the cuff, talking about gaming news naturally as I think about it. I mean, the others were still naturally, but those were, whittled down, typing it out. This is going to be more me, and I want you to let me know if you like this better or the more scripted, more to the focus, point stuff better, but let me know. Regardless, let's get into our first news story. Wait, before we get to the first story, see, this is why I script things. I'm going to be live on Twitch when this video goes up, so if you guys want to come over, ask any questions about the topics we discussed today, or just have any questions about anything, come on over, hang out, let me know. And now on to the first story. New Halo maps. Wait, before we get to, I'm just kidding. Let's get into it. First off, new Halo map was announced today. It's called Streets, and it was on IGN. Apparently IGN is going to be releasing a whole bunch of new Halo Infinite stuff. They have the exclusive rights to show it off, but as soon as they post it, I'm going to talk about it. But they showed off a new arena map. It's a pretty small map that takes place on New Mombasa, which is the location of Halo 2. It's just a new map that they're showing off, and it's cool that it takes place on Earth. I'm not sure if it takes place way in the future of Halo Infinite, or if it takes place like in the right after Halo 2. I'm not really sure. Multiplayer is not canon. I know some people like break it down on YouTube and go like, oh, I wonder if this is part of it. No, it's not canon. It's just a cool looking multiplayer map. One thing that is weird about the canon though, is that there's arcade machines there, like straight up stick button arcade machine that has Halo Infinite and a few other things on it. That kind of design worked in Cold War, Call of Duty Cold War, because that took place in the 80s when arcades existed. Arcades barely exist now. And you want me to think that in the year, 2561, you're gonna tell me they still have arcades that people press buttons or even screens that they look at? It's all gonna be in our heads. We're only like 20 years from implants to go in our brains to take over our nervous system and full dive into VR. Just a little bit of a weird choice. I get what they were going for. Oh, isn't it cute? An arcade. Maybe it's a retro bar. Maybe it's an antique shop. I don't know. Battlefield maps and ray tracing trailer. Then Battlefield released a new multiplayer map trailer showing off 3 of the game's maps that we've kind of seen in pictures, but this went into a little bit more detail, just showing some gameplay on them. First, we had Renewal that takes place in a desert in Egypt, and it's that map that has, one side is lush greenery and the other side is a barren desert. I like that design. Actually, all of the maps that they showed off kind of worked into the idea of the future being either good or bad, I guess. Mostly bad, because the second one that they showed off was Breakaway that takes place in Antarctica. It's called Breakaway, so I'm assuming that ice is breaking off because of global warming in the year 2042. And it's a weird looking map too, because sections of it are just pure ice with little, mountains and stuff. It kind of looks like a Star Wars map, like it would be in Battlefront 2, this ice planet. But really, I guess that is what Antarctica looks like. We've just never had a Battlefield map that takes place there. There has been some stuff. I think Final Stand had a snow level where you had the railgun, but they didn't have, these ice pillars everywhere to show it off. But anyways, that one has to do with global warming. The first one is actually good because they show that you can like terraform the desert to be a lush green environment, and then outside of the walls can still be the desert, so that's kind of cool. But then the last map is Discard that takes place in India, and I'm assuming Discard is referencing the discarded ships that are laying around the map. There are just these abandoned cruise ships or oil tankers or whatever they are, just in the middle of a seabed that is obviously dried up, because I guess you would think, wait, if water's rising in Breakaway, then why are the seas lowering in Discard? Oh boy, I think I've just broken the entire lore of this game wide open. But it reminds me of a map in Battlefield Bad Company 2. I forget the name of the map, but it had a similar aesthetic where it was like a dried up desert with boats in it. And I think that's just a cool looking aesthetic. So it's reaching into the series past, pulling out some ideas, but also creating some new stuff. And I like that the maps are either a slight bit of a callback or something I've never seen before. We've never seen random space ice planet with oil rig in the middle of it. They also released a trailer showing off some of the RTX or ray tracing elements in 2042. And it was weird in the beta. There was no option to turn on ray tracing at all, because in Battlefield 5 that was a big push. That was like the big ray tracing game. Look what we can do. And in 2042 it's obviously taken a step back. It's gonna be in there, but it's a lot more common now and in a lot more games, so it's not that big selling point like it used to be. But they showed off a bunch of modern elements that will be in this game, that are pretty standard at this point, like DLSS, ray tracing, ambient occlusion, all that stuff. I did find it weird that they included a clip where the frame rate was so low, and there's a lot of comments about this, where the part where the helicopter's flying around during the storm, the frame rate in that section looks like 30 FPS or something. It's much lower. And to be fair, during the beta, when the storm came in, the frame rate tanked, and I'm sure they're working on that. But also, not to be fair, this is a trailer. This is something you're releasing, and nevertheless to show off how great the graphics are. It was released on GeForce because it's supposed to be like, wow, look how amazing Battlefield 2042 looks with ray tracing. And another weird decision is that they took clips from the reveal trailer, the pre-rendered CGI trailer. Sure, it was done in-game in the engine, and they showed it off and they cut between that trailer and the gameplay that was supposed to show off how amazing this game looks. And while the game looks good, it looks fine on its own, doing that and showing those pre-rendered elements kind of tries to, it feels a little scummy. It feels like they're tricking people who don't know any better. You know, casual gamers who don't understand, oh, that game looks great. Wow, that new Madden trailer looks great. Well, it's fake. Wow, that Killzone 2 trailer looks fake. Well, it's fake. And also another thing I wanted to say, do they crank the bass in these Battlefield 2042 trailers? Because I remember in the beta, these guns did not sound like this. It sounds like every time they shoot a gun, they crank the bass to make it sound just like impactful and awesome. It doesn't sound like that. I mean, it's close, it's similar. It really just seems like they went bass up. But the push for Battlefield 2042 keeps going. The game is only a couple of weeks away, and I can't wait to play it. I know there's some people who are shaky, and to be fair, I am more interested now probably in Halo Infinite than I am in 2042. Battlefield 2042 could go either way. Halo Infinite looks like they're doing it right. So I'm leaning a little more over there, but I'm still gonna play Battlefield. And then there's Call of Duty Vanguard. Is anyone? No, that guy was sneezing. Nope. No one's gonna play that game. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake delayed. Now this is a weird post I saw on Reddit, but the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake has been pushed to 2023. If you guys don't remember, the Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time was that game on the GameCube, PS2, and I think it was on the Xbox, and it was actually a really great game for the time. I look back at that game as the beginning of modern gaming, and in the sense of, like, it was way ahead of its time. It kind of felt like an Uncharted game, and ahead of its time in the, you know, cinematic aspect. I know some people are like, oh, Uncharted's just a linear, you walk down the hallway game. Shut up. I think the stories are good. So when they showed off the remake, I think a year or so ago at E3 or something, and they showed off the trailer of what looked like just a cheap garbage slapped together, you know, remake. The thing is, the remake is supposed to look better than the original, or a remaster even. You know, there hasn't been a demake that they expect you to actually pay money for. You know, Final Fantasy VII didn't come out as a post-it note on a box, and they were like, yeah, all right, there it is, buy it please. So anyways, I guess the news here is that they're pushing it back, which is good. I'm hoping that we look back on this and go like, you know what, they went back to the drawing board, retooled everything, you know, maybe it'll come out on the PS6 years down the road. Just keep it in the back of your brain, a little nodule in the back, and eventually we'll pull it out and go, hey, Prince of Persia. Nintendo delays Advanced Wars. Then, as you know, this show is called Gaming Interest, so it's gaming news that interests me, and this news might be, you know, not interesting to anyone else, but Advanced Wars for the Switch has been pushed until 2022. The game was supposed to release on December 3rd of this year in the holiday season, but it's been pushed to April of 2022, and that's fine. And most of you might not care about it, but I grew up on Advanced Wars. I love Advanced Wars. My father still plays Advanced Wars to this day. I actually gave him an emulator, God, in like 2004, and said, here, you want to play this game? And he's like, yeah, sure. He loves when the tanks explode and go off, and he's been playing it to this day. I just downloaded it again for him, and he's been playing it. The point is, Advanced Wars is important to me and my family, and it getting delayed makes me sad. I'm gonna go over there and cry. I'm not gonna get up. I'm comfy in this chair. But I just wanted to say, if you've never played Advanced Wars, they're fun little games. The new art style in the remake compared to the original sprite-based game is a little weird. It looks a little too cutesy, but I guess that's probably how it looked to people on the Game Boy Advance. And in my head, it was like, yeah, action, serious action game, but they're orange and blue dudes just going pew, 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 pew at each other. Regardless, I'm still excited for that game. It's getting pushed back, but that's fine. I'm gonna play it when I get back. Don't tell my dad. I think I'm gonna get him a Switch just so he can play that game on his TV. Don't tell him. Don't. Shh. Quiet. Nintendo Switch Online, Nintendo 64 games have some issues. Then, continuing with Nintendo, we have some updates to the Nintendo 64 story. If you want more detail on this topic, go to last week's video where I broke it down a little bit more. But basically, Nintendo is releasing the Nintendo 64 emulator, a Sega Genesis emulator, and some DLC for like 30 extra bucks a year. And it's ridiculous and it's crazy. And people were already upset about the pricing. It seemed a little unreasonable for what they were getting. And here's the kick in the teeth, right? What they were getting wasn't even up to the basic standards of what it should be at a normal price. Nevertheless, the absorbent amount they expect you to pay. So basically the expansion pack released and people got their hands on it and started playing and quickly started to realize that there are frame rate issues. The games do not run perfectly well all the time. Some have been having glitchy audio here and there. There have been instances of things like fog in the games just not showing up or not being done correctly. There was a post done by Stop Skeletons from Fighting that showed off, the Wii U game and the original and then the Nintendo Switch version, and it looks wrong. It looks awful. And if that's someone's first experience with the game, that's a shame because that's not the artistic vision that, was supposed to be given. But then again, this is a professional release from Nintendo, an official release. So maybe it's the new vision for Ocarina of Time. And what makes this worse is that the Wii U version, which came out God knows how long ago, did it fine. Why are they getting worse at emulating games on better hardware? It's not much better, but it's still a little better. And if they expect people to pay money for something that they can easily get anywhere else for free, it better work at least as good or better. And that's what shocks me because I've been playing Nintendo 64 games emulated since 2005. They figured this out 20 years ago. And Nintendo couldn't be bothered to make sure theirs was up to those standards. There's very few settings. You can't change the controller layout. And what's weird is on the Switch, the controls are actually opposite of what the original controller would be. And now I can't test it because I'll be damned if I'm gonna give Nintendo money for something that I can easily get anywhere. I'll download it right now. Here, watch. Nintendo 64 Emulator, download, Mario 64 ROM. Nope, not ROM hacks, just normal ROMs, please. Here we go, we'll go here. All right, and open the thing, listen.
It's me, Mario.
Done. That's how long it took. That's how long it took me to perfectly emulate a Nintendo 64 game. I'm not here to argue against piracy or emulation or all that stuff. All I'm saying is, this is like the quote that Gabe Newell had where he said, you can eliminate piracy by doing it better than the pirates, is basically the concept. I forget the exact quote. If you don't want people to steal Nintendo 64 games, do it better than the competition. Do it better than the illegal methods to do it. And that's what's kind of sad, is Nintendo put in no effort into this. They literally took ROMs and just shoved them into an emulator and said, here, play, have fun, I guess, whatever. Money, please. And that's just lazy Nintendo. What's new? Now we're going to take a quick break from gaming news and check out what new games came out this week. First off, Mario Party Superstars came out, a new Mario Party game for the Switch, and this game is a collection of the best mini games from all other games in the series, and that's a lot of games to pick from. But I've heard that it's fun, it's just simple, the recreations are pretty faithful, and just, well done. It's not lighting the world on fire, it's just a new Mario Party, but it's always a fun game with friends. Then Demon Turf released, and I actually want to play this game. I've seen plenty of people play it. It has this cool 2D character style in a 3D world, and I'm really intrigued by that, where a 2D sprite is running through a world. And this, I've never seen it done with a platformer, so I really want to check it out. And the last big game that came out this week, and I hesitate to call this big, is Just Dance 2022. How are these games still in existence? Why do people keep buying these? I love that just like a year or two ago, they stopped making these games for the Wii. And you know what? Just Dance, I have nothing against silly party games. I mean, Mario Party was, just a few games back. But this game, it made a little bit of sense on the Wii, where you could wiggle your hand around while you were dancing. Even then, it was barely needed. You could sit in a chair and go and dance. It's almost as simple as just playing a YouTube video and dancing along, because no one cares about the high score or unlocking all the things. Who needs to unlock the things? You go on YouTube, you just watch the video and you dance around. It's not that hard. And that's what amazes me, is that this game is still coming out every year, because now it barely makes sense. There's already a mobile version where you can just play it on a web browser and move your phone around. Why do they continue to release these games? I don't get it. If there's already that online one, that should be it. That should be done. And this panda with a red hat is looking at me, and I've got to click off this screen because it's kind of gross. Sony establishes PlayStation PC. So back to gaming news, Sony announced PlayStation PC as the official brand of their PC games. For a while now, Sony has been releasing their PlayStation, exclusives on PC, Horizon, Days Gone, God of War is coming up soon. We talked about it last week. But there was never a full commitment from Sony that like, this is a big thing we're gonna be doing from now on. Is it because the PlayStation 5 just can't be found? They're like, you know what, we need to start focusing on other platforms because we can't create our own platform. I know they said it's not going to be day and date with the console launches, but it probably helps supplement some of the costs by bringing it to PC after it served its purpose on a PlayStation. The whole gaming industry has been opening up like that. Crossplay I never thought would happen. Having Xbox games on PC, having Microsoft characters in Smash Brothers. It seems like all the walls have been broken down of these console wars. If you're still console warring, get over yourself because the companies themselves aren't. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas coming to VR. Then finally today we have some news that I actually thought was a joke at first. The first time I saw this, it was just a post on Twitter. I'll try to find the video.
There's one project that I'm really looking forward to. This new version of what I think is one of the greatest games ever made will offer players an entirely new way to experience this iconic open world in virtual reality.
And when I saw that, I was like, oh, somebody just spliced it in. Because you could do that with any game. Here, I'll do it with, I don't know, what do you want?
This new version of what I think is one of the greatest games ever made. One of the greatest games ever made. One of the greatest games ever made.
But yes, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is coming to Oculus Quest 2. In fact, Mark Zuckerberg has been talking about Oculus and the metaverse all this last week. Why is he so weird?
There's one project that I'm really looking forward to.
He's so bad at presenting. His stuff seems like a press conference for a video game, convention 10 years ago.
It's really impressive to see this lineup come together over the last few years.
Wow, welcome to an unprecedented video game world like you've never seen before.
I'm moving to the metaverse.
All right, thanks, Deb. This is gonna be amazing.
Honestly, Mark, you're listening to me right now, right? Just come out and say, VR's pretty cool, I like VR, we want to do some cool stuff with it. That's all you have to do, because you already make good hardware. Look, I've got a Quest, okay? It's a good piece of tech. The Oculus Quest 2 is even better. And yes, I signed up for Facebook to use it. Oh my God. Oh, it's the end of the world. Oh my God. But Mark, you make cool stuff. I appreciate you putting your money into this thing. It's really cool. If you guys don't know, the Oculuses are another example of things being sold at a loss. The reason that the Quest 2 are almost as good as this $1,200 Valve Index is insane. I bought this as a birthday present like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was dumb. It was a dumb expensive thing. This cost $299 and it's getting close. And a lot of that has to do with Facebook pushing the price down. I guarantee you this headset is not $299 to make. They're actually selling it at a loss to then bring people into the ecosystem, into the metaverse, and then, make money on software and stuff like that.
I'm moving to the metaverse.
Anyways, we went off on a tangent. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is going to be coming to the Oculus Quest 2, and I think that's pretty cool. That's honestly where VR kind of is. It's more advanced on the PC, but since these are selling so amazingly well, like this is what VR is for most people, and that's fine. But basically these are phone hardware, like phone processors, Qualcomm, Dragons, whatever. Not everyone has an Xbox Series X strapped to their face yet. And I was curious if this version of San Andreas was going to be the same as the trilogy that's also releasing, where they updated and recreated the graphics. They haven't shown off any gameplay, but it looks like this version of the VR San Andreas is being built by a different team. So I'm not sure if it's going to use that new art style or stick to the classic. I hope it sticks to the classic because the new art style is a little weird. I want to cruise around San Andreas. I want to ride my little bike. I want to sit in a lowrider and just kind of, go. Along with San Andreas, Facebook announced that they're working on a new VR headset, and I just realized I have to call them Meta now. Meta announced a new gaming headset, and it's called Project Cambria or something like that. This is honestly the headset I've been waiting for, because like I said, the Quest, this is the first Quest. The Quest 2 is almost as good as the Index. I am waiting for that next Oculus Quest, which this is going to be, but apparently Oculus, the branding is going to be changing, which I find weird because so many people now know Oculus. I mean, just my mom, my dad knows what Oculus is at this point. You'd think they'd stick with it, but maybe they're trying to distance themselves from past controversies and just start anew. Maybe that's why Facebook's going to Meta. It'll be the Metaverse headset. It'll be the Meta 1. Call it the Meta 1. I know I'm going off on a tangent about VR, but I'm very passionate about VR, as you can tell by the amount of VR crap around my office. I have a gun. If you've never seen this, you feel like you have a gun, you can pull the things off. It's really cool. VR's cool. I think it's the future, and so does Mark Zuckerberg. I just wish he would just come out and say that. Hey guys, VR's cool and it's the future. Let's do it. And not, VR is cool. Don't you agree? Don't you like barbecue sauce? Isn't it weird we left barbecue sauce in the background of our professional video? It's a little bit much. Anyways, that is where I'm gonna end today's show, and what did you guys think? I actually enjoyed recording this because it's not written out and scripted. You know, right now, I'm getting the high of writing this because, you know, obviously when I'm writing it, I'm like, yeah, and then when I have to record it all, it's, you know, a lot slower. This is just me off the cuff going crazy, just shooting out words, like, ah! And I think it's fun. So let me know which version you think. Maybe we can do more of a hybrid. Nope, gun. Maybe we can do more of a hybrid in the future where I'll have talking points all laid out and then I can just kind of talk about them and do whatever. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new, welcome to the show. If you keep supporting the show, thank you so much. If you guys want to share the show around, help me out. We got to get this show going. I want to keep doing it. It's weekly gaming news. It's fun to keep track of all the gaming stuff that's going on. It excites me. I like to watch it all happen. If you guys want to come to the live stream, I'll be on Twitch after this video goes up. So if you guys want to come over and say hi and, you know, talk to me about gaming news, we tend to watch the video that you just watched because here you are at the end of it. We tend to watch the video, you know, out during the stream and then kind of break down each topic and ask questions about it. So come on by. And even if I'm playing games, come on by and ask. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm going in. Oh yeah, that's the stuff.